Are we well? Yeah. So both my parents are alcoholics. They don't like to admit that though. They just give subtle hints. Just ask my brothers and Storm Fosters. Did you know that 70% of gin made in the UK is actually made in Scotland? Which explains why every time I drink gin, I fancy a fight 70% of the time. To make flavoured gin, you have to use a mixture of flowers, fruit and nuts. But to stop it tasting salty, don't use your own nuts. My father-in-law buys and plays with scale electrics, which surprised me. I didn't think you could have 3 adult kids, 9 grandchildren, and still be considered a virgin. I found my dad having a mini stroke the other day. He was wanking off a midget. All his mates keep on saying to me that they can see a lot of my father and me, which surprised me. I thought I took all those videos down. They're only fans if you want to see them, guys. In school, I was made to write a lot of essays from Shakespeare, but I was asked to write them in lead in case I made a mistake. But which pencil was I to use? To be or not to be? I was in my car, and this police officer was flashing his lights, going wee woo, wee woo, and came right up my arse. And then he pulled out, and I took him home. You're loving that, aren't you? Yeah. So structured. It sounds like you're laughing like you've experienced it yourself. When I proposed to my girlfriend, she was shaking with excitement. Well, it was that, or the Parkinson's. Makes for a good hand job, though. My dad's already told me that if he sat next to my mum at the wedding, he won't come. Which is good. He shouldn't be doing that anyway. It's always hard sorting out the seating arrangement at a wedding, because like I said, my dad said he won't sit next to my mum, her brother won't sit next to his sister, and my cousin doesn't want to be anywhere near my granddad. But when will they realise? They're not invited. Picking the cake for your wedding is always good fun, because you get to go to all these different tasting sessions. And after my 15th trial, I left feeling full, satisfied, and diabetic. It's normal for the father of the bride to walk her down the aisle, except mine can't do that, as I'm not marrying my sister. Not from the Isle of Wight. I went to one wedding where the bride was dyslexic, and instead of throwing the bouquet, she threw a bucket. I went to the drug clinic today and found out that it's now all done by phone. So I called the number and it said, if you want help with your marijuana addiction, please press hash. To earn a bit of extra cash, I've started refereeing, and it's hard, you know, because all I get is abuse. Quite often I get, the referee's a wanker! So I've stopped doing that on the pitch. You're not fit to referee! No shit. I get out of breath saying my orders in McDonald's drive-thru. You don't know what you're doing, which really hurt, coming from my missus in bed. I've been to some shithole places around the world. I don't think I could ever go back to Malawi, Cambodia, or Birmingham again. Other people go to other countries to experience the culture and the way that they live. So my mate went to Russia and became a mail order bride. We've been married 5 years now. My aunt's been accused of being quite lowbrow, which is fair. I do have a strip of hair above my cock. When I first met my missus, we started out with no strings attached, which meant she couldn't remove her tampon. Oh, no, you're thinking, bloody hell. I live with a lot of financial burden. My fiance hates it when I say that. They're called our kids. I couldn't date someone who's quit smoking. It just shows zero commitment. Okay. The cost of smoking has risen so much that my missus has now resorted to selling her used knickers to strangers. She's been getting some weird looks at the boot sale. The Does anyone else's partner suffer with morning breath? No, not you? Fair enough. Well, mine does, and it's doubly bad for me. It's when she opens her legs. I also get morning muff. You know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. Yummy. Do you work at fishmongers? Is that what you like the smell? Right, you guys ready for some puns? Yeah, that's good, because that's what's happening. This is my clipboard. Okay. Kellogg's have started doing puns. I think they're great. Yeah, it's about 8 more of these guys. Keep it up. I was in Harvester the other day, and they had a special on. So I ordered the rabbit, and when it came out, it had a massive hair in it. I think these jokes are going to go right in the bin, guys. I went to a restaurant where I was served the edges of a lettuce. It's the tip of the iceberg. There's one bloke where I live who's had a nose job, and no one can work out why. I suppose it's Nosebody's business. Did you know that Neil Armstrong only went to the moon after having a massive argument with his wife? She just said she needed some space. I was at Ascot, and this really snooty person looked down at me and demanded that I move out the way. I thought, get off your high horse. In school, I watched a video of a surgeon removing someone's bladder, which I thought was taking the piss. My friend asked me if I know anyone who can build a ship that can carry animals. I said, I know a guy. That's about as much as that deserves. Okay. So when people find out that I do comedy, they often like to tell me jokes. They go, oh, you can use that one on stage. Do you want to hear them? Yeah. Oh, that's good, because it's got to be better than that shit, isn't it? I was attacked by an XL bully yesterday. That's the last time I go to Weight Watchers. A 7-year-old and a 4-year-old said to each other, shall we swear today? And they both went, yeah. So they went down to breakfast, and the mother said to the 4-year-old, what would you like for breakfast? And the 4-year-old said, I'd like some Frosties, you bitch. And she slapped him around the face. She then turned to the 7-year-old and said, what would you like for breakfast? And he said, I know one thing for sure, I don't want any fucking Frosties. I was in the pub, and this tall girl was wearing a miniskirt with her arse showing and her tits out here, and I thought, don't get an erection, don't get an erection. But she did. A man went to the doctors and said, I'm not feeling too well. My heart keeps racing, my head keeps spinning. The doctor said, I think you're going to have to stop masturbating. And he said, why? Because I have to examine you. I met a bunch of fans who support teams based on their favourite thing to eat. One guy supported West Ham because he eats ham. Another follows Liverpool because he eats liver. And I've got to say, the logic works, because I support Arsenal. I heard on the news that the fall of al-Assad in Syria will affect America, Europe, and the wider Middle East, which is false reporting. Americans are wider. And I'll leave you on this one. I lost a game of rock, paper, scissors to a guy with no hand. I was stumped. I've been Jack Bartlett, thank you for your time.